Welcome to Something More to Podcast, where we move through topics wherever the conversation takes us. I'm your host, Richard Collins.
And I'm Adam Culbertson.
Every time we come in here to record week after week, one of the hardest things, depending on what's going on, is just finding a topic to talk about. Not that it's hard to talk. It's really easy to talk. But finding a topic that we feel like we could make a good enough show for 30 minutes of talking without getting too kind of sporadic with our conversation.
Yeah.
Something that we can actually kind of root to, come back to, like, and base the whole thing on. And I feel like this week it's been particularly difficult, and the whole reason why is it kind of gets to a point where everything that's going on this week in the news is not really new.
No.
I mean, yeah, there's the Super Bowl, but I mean, I follow football. Adam doesn't really wouldn't make for a great conversation between the two of us.
No. Yeah, I just really know the whole, like, all the outrage over shit with the halftime show, women showing their skin.
Yeah, but that's because people are dumb.
Yeah, people are fucking
It was
stupid.
much worse, like, in the past. Like, most of the skin that J-Lo showed this year was not even really skin. It was just skin-colored cloth.
Yeah.
And on top of all of this, like, I swear, like, there are people, like, that put their kids in, like, dance troops or whatever, like, so they can learn how to dance and do all this stuff, and they wear the same kind of skimpy-ass shit.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, seriously. If you really want to complain about that, like, there are other places where it needs to start.
Yeah.
Not to mention the whole argument of, well, you know, it influences my kids, like, to wear skimpy clothes. Well, then don't let them wear skimpy clothes. You're still their parent. Be a fucking parent.
Yeah. I mean, you got the fucking cheerleader. The cheerleaders show more skin than either of them showed. Shakira or J-Lo showed at the halftime show, and that's every single game for every single team, unless it's really fucking cold.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, no, that's a stupid complaint.
Yeah. And then dude last year, I don't even know his name. Dude last year, he had his shirt off. He was actually showing skin, and like, okay, then we got double standards. Like, they weren't
because it's totally okay to show male nipple.
Yeah.
As long as you don't show female nipple.
Oh no.
Which even with the whole Janet Jackson thing back in 2003.
Yeah.
Well, 2003 season, 2004 Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Like, even when that happened, like, and there was all an uproar, like, there was no nipple.
No.
Like, she had a pasty on.
Yeah,
like, there was no nipple.
No nipple. But dudes show their nipples. That's okay. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, nipple's a nipple.
Yeah. I mean, it's true. But, you know.
Men get aroused by their nipples being touched, too.
Some do,
don't.
some don't.
And some women don't. Like, it's just how it is. Like, it's just a fucking body part that isn't really that bad.
Right? I don't know. So, back to what I was trying to say.
Yes, I'm sorry.
No. It's no problem. This is what we do.
Yeah.
But, so, when it comes down to it, like, aside from a few things like that just don't really make good topics for us for a full 30-minute show, there's just a lot of the kind of samey stuff in the news. Like, I mean, the coronavirus that, you know, we talked about, like, had actually really good download rate on.
Yeah.
Very, very surprised and pretty happy about that one. But, I mean, it's kind of still prevalent in the news, really heavy everywhere. Like, the whole impeachment process has been really heavy in the news, and frankly, we just don't really want to talk about it because we talk about how shitty the GOP is a lot.
Yeah.
And
I mean, we already knew what was going to happen. It wasn't a surprise to us, so it's not news to us because we already knew.
Yeah. I mean, that was already a foregone conclusion
They're
forever
corrupt
ago.
fucking traitors, and yeah. But,
Yeah. And, you know, so you see a bunch of that. And I mean, it kind of brings to mind the idea that the whole supposed 24-hour news cycle, which in some cases, yeah, isn't even 24 hours anymore because of the way that things are. But at the same time, there are definitely news stories that dominate far longer than that.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
And it gets to a point where almost nothing else matters with this while this stuff's going on.
Mm-hmm. Especially with just Trump. Like, if it's not one thing that deals with corruption, it's another fucking thing. It's another thing. Oh, his children, his company is benefiting from him doing shit and spending tax dollars on it.
Mm-hmm.
For his own benefit, for his own family's benefit, for his own company's benefit.
Yeah.
Like, when he's not president anymore, hopefully soon, he's going to go back to that company. Like, he made money off of us.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And he guaranteed he's doing everything in his power while he's president to make sure that he'll be able to make shitloads more money when he gets out.
Yeah. But it's just like, with this whole news cycle and everything, it's just the same shit over and over, and nothing's being done about it. Nothing's gonna be done about it. At least that's the way it's looking like. And it's becoming boring.
Yeah.
It's scary, but boring. Like, it's hard to talk about the same fucking thing every week with just different words.
Yeah. And I mean, frankly, I don't really want to keep talking about some of these things all the time.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, have you really ever tried reading about like politics for extended amounts of time, or like especially with politics as of late, but just politics in general? It gets really depressing when you follow it.
Yeah. Yeah, especially when you look back on stuff too. Look back on stuff. Hell, look really far back and look at a time whenever there was actual checks and balances, and then you look at now and you're like, holy fuck, where did we go wrong? Like, I don't know. Yeah, in this past year that we've been doing this podcast, we shifted from just random topics of things that like excited us, things that we got into that we liked, video games, TV. And then we became really focused on politics and news and just society specific things. And we really enjoy doing that, but it's really fucking depressing.
Oh, yeah. Although, you know, to kind of answer the question about where we went wrong, I'll tell you what it really is. Like, checks and balances only really works because, like, it was only ever a good idea because it assumes that the majority of the people in the government are actually looking out for the best interests of the country instead of their own best interests. Yeah. Like, as soon as the majority is out for themselves or their party or their people or whatever, instead of looking out for what's best for their constituents and the country as a whole, checks and balances don't work anymore.
Yeah, they are just looking out for their best interests, like going back to where we talked about lobbying before. Like, that's what it is. That's basically it. They're being paid to do things for the people that are paying them, but fuck us.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's incredibly self-serving. But yeah, I mean, like with anything, there's give and take. And so even though it's really quick for people to forget about stuff, and usually more positive things, and or, you know, at least things that are wholesome. I mean,
yeah.
I already feel like the whole focus on like Kobe is starting to die off.
Yeah.
Poor choice of words. But I mean, when you look at it, I mean, it was such a big thing for a while, but it hasn't really had that kind of staying power with it that, you know, either the other two major things, the coronavirus and the impeachment process have had, or even like, on a world news kind of front, like Brexit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like Brexit is far more prominent in the news. And I mean, granted, to some extent, you can only really talk about like that one event that happened for so long. But at the same time, it kind of feels like, oh, well, everybody's really sad about it. It's a really big deal and everything. And then it just kind of fades. And meanwhile, we kind of get stuck with the really shitty parts that, I mean, really, if I could help it, like, we could just deal with, get rid of, like, we could actually solve our problems and start forgetting those quicker.
Yeah, and we're only, 3 days into, when we record this, when we are recording this, we're only 3 days into February, and there's already been 2 shootings.
Yeah.
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, that's pretty old news anymore, too.
Yeah. Like, it happens all the fucking time, but we're so desensitized. The news, the 24-hour news cycle, it's running through it. It gets buried in this whole impeachment stuff, Brexit, coronavirus. Like, we're complacent.
Well, and part of the whole thing is that, the media companies in general, like their businesses first and foremost.
Oh, yeah.
There's basically no news outlets anymore that are really just out there to actually spread news and spread like truth to the masses.
Yeah.
Like
I would say there's very few. Yeah.
That's hardly even a thing anymore. And so when it really comes down to it, their entire purpose is basically getting people to read what they put out or watch what they put out or listen to what they put out.
Mm-hmm.
And so if it's not something that the majority of the people want to hear about at the time or interested in at the time, it pretty much gets shoved to the side.
Yeah. And shit, like these news companies, they're even dominating YouTube now.
Oh yeah.
They've made it to the point where the only people that are generating ads on there are them. Or generating monetization from ads, because the ad companies and YouTube policies and all that kind of shit, they're just like, oh, well, we got actual content creators coming out here and putting original things, original skits. But if that skit has the word fuck in it, if it has scripted rage, scripted outrage, like it's not even fucking real. It's a written skit, like it's toxic and we're going to take it off of, we're not going to let you make money off of it. Like, it's really fucked up.
Part of the problem, and maybe the biggest part of the problem, is that YouTube is extremely lazy when it comes to actually handling things the right way.
Yeah.
Like, this all really stems from problems with COPPA.
Mm-hmm.
And rather than actually address the problem with, basically having no actual like requirements to signing up, basically they just have like a little disclaimer, like whenever you sign up for a YouTube account, that says you have to be 13.
Yeah.
And, if you lie, well, there was no way they could know that you were going to lie, so they can't be blamed.
No.
And so they just pass that blame along to any creators.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they do.
Rather than actually police their own platform, they just stand back and go, well, it's the responsibility of our creators to prevent like kids from being tempted by this, that, or the other, and like profanity and selling shit to kids and all this other stuff. Like, it's not our responsibility to make sure that that's not happening.
Oh, and then to double down on that, like, I mean, they have the money to hire people to fucking go through this shit, but they let it go through automation and just let it get lost in fucking limbo. But talking about kids on the platform, if you make content specifically designed for children on YouTube, you cannot monetize it. So if somebody wants to go out there and be the next Wiggles, like, they can't fucking do it.
Well, and that's kind of the other problem with it, is because that line of intentionally developed for kids or intended to be directed at kids is such a vague definition that there's basically nothing that stops almost anything from being defined that way.
Yeah.
Does it have to do with video games at all? Well, then it could be targeted toward kids.
Yeah.
Does it have any animation in it? It could be targeted toward kids.
Yeah.
Like, does it have like singing in it? It could be targeted for kids.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really matter the content that lies within, like what's actually going on with it. Like, you know, there's just way too broad of a definition of what is quote unquote targeted at kids.
Yeah. Like I anymore, I only have like a few YouTube creators that I actually follow, and I watch their videos and I watch their ads so they can get money from it anymore, because I don't want to be on that platform anymore. I hate their policies. I hate their policies for new creators to come in. Mm-hmm. They have fucking, like, they just keep increasing the requirements to even be able to monetize your stuff, while they can make money off of your content until that time.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're going to get theirs one way or another.
But you don't get back paid for all the stuff that you had before you met that requirement.
Right.
It's fucking greed.
I mean, as long as they can show ads, they get their money.
And then again, like, the stress on the amount of content that you have to make and upload in everything on a weekly basis is so much, just to be able to maintain some kind of income, if that's your full-time job.
Well, because at this point, not only are you competing against all the other YouTubers, you're competing against companies.
Yeah.
That actually have divisions, the people that are actually cranking out this content.
Yeah, your single content creators, like, that are doing it solo, like, it's not feasible anymore. Like, you have to have a fucking team. You have to have money to have people to, or just have friends that are willing to go through that with you. And you got a team that edits, you got a team that records, you got a team that acts, you got a team that writes.
Yeah. And you know, like, YouTube, happy to let it happen, because all they see is the dollar signs. They don't really care about the creators that got them to where they are. They don't really care about the community that actually supports them and what they're doing. Like, all they see is like, well, we can get all of these established companies in, and they can start putting out all their content on our platform, and we can start making ad revenue off of all of it. Yeah.
It's not a content creator friendly atmosphere anymore. That's what it was forever. For the past little over a decade.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it was. It was for people to be creative. And I mean, their motto was broadcast yourself.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
No, absolutely not.
I don't know. That's been a topic on my mind recently. And then the news companies are also fucking causing that problem.
Yeah.
Like, I would even say Twitch is the same thing. I stopped. I didn't want to be on the platform anymore because of the way they were making it harder for up and coming content creators. Like, I don't even use it as a viewer anymore.
I was never really into watching Twitch, to be honest.
To be honest, I wasn't huge into watching. I was into, like, putting on a show, because I was like, oh, well, why do I want to watch other people play when I can be playing?
Right.
That was my whole thing, and I was like, fuck, I'll do it. And then I did a whole game show host thing with Bob Barker and all that.
Yeah.
And it was fun, and people liked it. But, the platform got really bad. And didn't want anything to do with it anymore. I did get sick for a while, too, but figured all that out, kind of.
Kind of. But, yeah, I don't know. Like, it's just, the world's a shitty place. We all know it's a shitty place. Mm-hmm. Can we please, like, start getting something more positive in the news?
Yeah. Yeah. Man, like recently, definitely recently, and I tell you this all the time, like, whenever we're like, oh, what do we talk about? And I'm like, dude, like, all I've been focusing on is D&D recently. Like, because running 2 campaigns, like, I'm prepping for 2 of them, and one of them is a lot bigger and a lot more time consuming than the one that I go by a campaign book. But like, I get lost in that world. I get lost in the just being the creativity and everything, and like that takes me out of this fucking toxic ass news cycle. It's just the same shit, and it just like gets me away, and then I come back and like, okay, well, what do we talk about? And it's like looking through stuff and like same shit it was last week.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. And it really does feel like at any given time there's really only maybe 3 news stories, because all the news outlets are trying to cover the same stuff because it's what's popular.
Yeah. And shit, I mean, sometimes on Reddit you can get some like good other things that are going on, but I mean, even that recently, Reddit, like the top stuff in news, the top stuff in politics, the top stuff in gaming, like it's always the same fucking shit. Everybody's outraged about the same fucking thing, especially in gaming. I mean, what is it this week? Blizzard's at it again. Like, it's the same fucking shit.
Yeah.
Blizzard's pissing people off. They put out World of Warcraft, or they put out Warcraft 3, the remastered edition, and they took shit out of it. All they had to do was remaster it and keep it the same game, but they fucking took shit out of it. What the fuck, Blizzard? What the fuck? Like, it's got the worst rating of any game that's ever been rated.
Like, it's just
the gaming community. Like, I'm not for like completely like bombing ratings, like rating bombs and critic bombs and all that kind of stuff. But like, this one fucking deserved it. I feel like this one deserved it. It pissed me off, and I wasn't even going to buy it.
Like, I don't feel like it still deserves it. Like, it deserves to be rated low if people are that disappointed with it. But that doesn't mean that it deserves to have people going and creating a bunch of fake accounts just to lower the score as much as possible.
Oh, no, I don't agree in doing fake accounts. But if you love the original game, which I did love the original game, and then, I mean, yeah, I probably would have bought it if it was on sale. Or
even passing a rating without having actually bought it and played it yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I feel like that kind
of... I mean, I didn't go out there and do it. But...
Right. But I feel like that kind of falls in that same realm of, like, you know, if you really haven't tried it yourself, then you probably aren't qualified to have an opinion on this.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you can have your opinion. Yeah, that's shitty. That's what they did or whatever. But don't go, like, trashing their rating if you don't have a full picture.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of people now, instead of just buying right out the gate, they wait and they watch their favorite streamers or favorite YouTubers or whatever, watch them play the game, and then based on what they think about it, they'll go and buy it, and then they find out, oh, like they're excited maybe, and then they find out, oh, well, they took all this stuff out of the game, like they fucking gave you a portion of the game.
Don't get me wrong, that stuff deserves to be out there, but there's plenty of people out there that are playing the game that can tell you that.
Yeah.
You don't need a bunch of people that haven't actually bought the game to start adding their 2 cents in on it.
Yeah.
And if anything, like, it starts this whole like circle basically of, oh, well, it gets a bunch of bad ratings, so people don't buy it and people like don't try it or anything like that because they see, oh, well, this is a really poorly rated game.
Yeah. I totally understand that, but like on the other hand, I also in this game's case, they can go and fucking fix it. Like, we live in an age where companies can go back, developers can go back, and they can fix the errors that they made, and the ratings can change based on that.
Yeah, and that's absolutely true. But when you have stuff that gets like rating bombed like that, like it's hard to really be able to fix that. And not to mention,
I mean, it's happened with other games, and they fixed it, and their ratings got better.
Right, and that can happen.
People can change their rating.
But I would dare say that stuff like No Man's Sky probably didn't get ratings bombed as bad as like some things did. Like,
well, yeah, that was also before that became a thing, really.
Right. But see, the other thing about it is we really, as a consumer base, really need to stop supporting companies for making shitty decisions.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, honestly, since the whole thing with China and Blizzard and the censoring, the fucking saying the guy that won didn't win because he spoke out against China. Like, I have not supported anything Blizzard has done since. I have not played Overwatch ever since. Like, I have no desire to give Blizzard any of my time or money in the foreseeable future. Like, I am done with Blizzard at this point. Just because I don't agree with them, and I also don't agree with their choices with the CEO and everything like that. So, I mean, but I'm not going out there and ratings bombing and everything like that.
Right, but I mean, really, like, the companies don't even really care about the ratings all that much.
No.
What they care about is sales, and, like, in the case of persistent games, like the actual concurrent user counts.
Yeah.
Like, that's all they really care about. So if you really want, like, your opinion to be known to them, like, you have to actually take a hard stand and say, you know what? Even if I want to play this game, even if I'm mildly interested, even if I can kind of deal with all this shitty stuff, if you really want it to stop, you have to take a hard stand and say, no, I'm not going to buy this game. I'm not going to play it.
Yeah. Oh, no, I totally agree with you there.
And even if...
I mean, I do that. So,
and I mean, it's the same kind of shitty situation when it comes to like the actual elections and politics and everything else. Like, even if it's not really going to matter at all, it doesn't help anybody by just going along with everybody else.
No. Same with watching these news stations. Fucking take those channels off of your fucking TV. Don't support them. Don't give them any fucking. I mean, I don't know if that does anything. I don't know if they keep. Don't fucking watch their videos online. Like, if you see fucking, you don't like CNN, you don't like Fox, you don't like anything, just don't fucking watch them anymore.
But yeah, never.
Don't give them fucking clicks.
Like, never feel like, oh, well, it doesn't really matter. Like, even if in the scheme of things, like, your one particular view or your one particular vote or your one particular purchase is just a drop in the ocean for them.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
We need enough people that are willing to take that stand for them to notice.
Yeah.
And if you take that stand and you get other people to take that stand, you can start building enough of a group. But, you know, all this stuff, because, you know, I know Pokemon was a really hot topic, like, leading into this one.
Yeah.
Where everybody was like, blah, blah, blah. Like, you got to boycott Pokemon and everything else. And
it's not going to happen.
You know damn well the majority of those people that said they were going to boycott probably bought it day one.
Yeah. I mean, same thing with Call of Duty every year. Everybody's like, oh, don't buy this one because blah, blah, blah. And it's the same fucking thing every time. I mean, I got with Black Ops 2. I did have fun with it. I feel like I did get my money's worth because I spent a lot of time on it. But in the end, they fucked it over just like they've done every fucking game with fucking balance patches that don't balance the game.
Yeah.
So...
And like I said, the only way that it's going to work is if people actually start taking a hard stand and just forgetting all about those franchises. Like, yeah, it sucks. Yeah, you feel like you're missing out. But, like, you know, just find something else to do.
Yeah. And I meant Black Ops 4, not Black Ops 2. I think I said 2.
Yeah, 2 was a long time ago.
Yeah. Black Ops 2 did get me. No, Black Ops 2 was good. I like Black Ops 2. But Black Ops 3 got me.
Yeah. And you know what? There are enough video games out there these days. There are enough games coming out constantly, and there's a big enough indie developer scene that you don't have to give one dime to the huge developers.
Yeah. Oh, and like where I was saying, oh, well, if you don't want to watch the news, don't watch the news. There's plenty of news sources out there that are independently run and based on donations by individuals to keep going and everything. Like there's stuff out there that does unbiased reporting or less biased reporting, but factual news. Like, yeah, you're going to have some right-leaning stuff. You're going to have some left-leaning stuff. There's hardly anything that's down the middle, but if they report facts, it's not fake news. Like, it's still facts. Whether their fucking titles lean left, if you read the article and not just the titles, there's fucking shit there.
And you know what?
That you need to know.
Admittedly, even if they're posting facts and even if they're being truthful, they could still be lying by omission. Like, granted, that's absolutely a possibility.
Yeah.
But that's why, again, it becomes important to read multiple sources.
I look at all the different bias sites. There's multiple. There's not just one. You don't have to go to PolitiFacts. There's others. Just fucking Google it.
Oh, yeah.
The shit's out there. Google fucking indie gaming developers.
Oh, yeah.
Google fucking independent filmmakers. Google independent anything.
Oh,
and
yeah.
support those people. Support independent creators.
Oh, yeah. There's so much good stuff out there these days. I mean, like, we're at a point in technology and in history where it has never been easier to be able to put your own personal content out for people to find.
Yeah. Hell, fuck. If you want to write a book, you can publish it through Amazon.
Oh, yeah.
Like, no, I don't agree with everything Amazon does, but fuck, I buy shit from there because I can't afford to buy it anywhere else.
Well, and not to mention, for all the shitty stuff that they do, like, being an available publisher for basically anybody is actually a great thing.
It is. It is. I mean, they started with books and I mean, they still do great things with books and for independent writers.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So, you know, definitely support independent people.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot easier to show your disdain if they do something you don't like than like some big faceless company that really you are about as small as a atom to them.
Yeah. Like, shit. Like, if somebody came to us and said, well, I don't like what you did here, like, we would have a fucking conversation with you.
Yeah.
We're not so busy that we can't do that.
Absolutely.
We're not flooded with shit to where we can't do that. Yeah, maybe one day if we blow up with Microphones and Monsters or something, who knows? But, I mean, I would still like to be able to at least somewhat maintain, like, yeah, I'm not going to feed trolls and shit like that, but I would still like to be able to maintain, like, some kind of relationship with the viewer or the listeners and
yeah. Oh, absolutely.
and stuff like that.
And man, what a wonderful problem it would be to not be able to actually get through all of the comments. Like,
yeah.
like that would be a great problem to like actually struggle to keep up with answering people.
Yeah, but shit, the way I see it, I mean, if like, and I'm not counting on this. Neither of us are counting on this. None of us. All four of us at Microphones and Monsters aren't going to count on this. Like,
no, I mean, again, we do this stuff because we find it enjoyable.
Yeah, I like fucking creating. These guys like creating because, I mean, that's what's happening. Like, whenever you listen to the show, if you do, like, which we did announce on Saturday, actually, this past Saturday, February 2nd.
Yep.
No, February.
Saturday would have been the first.
Yeah, February 1st, we announced that our release date, which, I mean, yeah, it's a good time to bring it up. We're just talking about random shit anyways.
Fair enough.
We're releasing Microphones and Monsters, premiering our host introduction episode and episode 1 on March 2nd. And we will be releasing every Monday and Friday.
Yep.
The episodes are 30 to 45 minutes long. Depending on the episodes, some of them are a little longer, some of them are a little short. We already got a good backlog of episodes. We got another month of recording to create a bigger backlog, and we're really happy with what's come of it so far.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So for the foreseeable future, like especially for those that might get into it, like the episodes will keep coming.
Like we did that so we'd have a good flexible schedule so we can take time off if we needed to and still put out it's a very competitive schedule.
Right. And the thing is, like, because we find it enjoyable, we want it to stay enjoyable, so we don't ever want to be in a situation where we feel pressured, like we have to do this. Like, we never want to feel like we have to do this.
Yeah. And I mean, I got a lot planned. These guys are fucking inspiring me every single Saturday.
You know, I tell you, like, and you know, saying this as the most experienced one of us, like when it comes to tabletop gaming, like I am just like I am in awe of like how well the group meshes together.
Yeah. Like, it's crazy. And one Steven hasn't even played D&D before, like, 2 sessions before we started this.
Yeah, basically. This is his second campaign, and his first campaign is still ongoing as well.
Yeah. And it's towards the end. He jumped in towards the end just to kind of learn it a little bit. And then I was like, oh, we lost somebody. So, hey, do you want to join us here? And he's like, as long as this campaign ends quickly, like, I can do it. I can't do twice a week. And I'm like, yeah, I will get you through it. Like, we'll get through it. And it's not that far away.
Right. And honestly, it'd probably already be over if we could actually get everybody to meet up consistently for that one. But
yeah, holidays are fucked up anyway. So
holidays are screwy.
Everybody getting sick around this time of year.
Yeah. Oh, tell me about it.
But yeah, before you sign off, we are at something to cast.
Mm-hmm. Something the number 2 cast.
Yeah, something the number 2 cast. We mentioned Microphones and Monsters. It's at Mike's and spelled out A-N-D Monsters, Mike's and Monsters. And
websites for both now, yeah? Or at least addresses.
Well, there's always something more to podcast.com. It will be microphonesandmonsters.com right now. It's microphonesandmonsters.pod. What the fuck is our
Podbean?
Yeah, microphonesandmonsters.podbean.com right now. But, I mean, we already own the domain. I'm just doing that mid-February. I'm going to go ahead and start uploading episodes and getting our website set up. But it will be microphonesandmonsters.com.
Yeah. But yeah. So, in any case, thanks for listening to our rambling, especially this week. Very, very rambly this week. But I hope you enjoyed it. And hope you come back next time when we have something more to podcast.